Dear students, good morning. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 6th October 2020. The first article for discussion is Form Acts Unwanted Constitutional Adventurism. There is an associated article which talks about an unconstitutional harvest. Both these articles are sending the same information and message, so I have clubbed these two here. You know that recently Parliament has passed the farm bills. Objective of this article is to emphasize that these farm bills cannot stand the constitutional scrutiny. Let us see why. You know that Schedule 7 has three lists, that is Union list, State list and concurrent list. List 3 is the concurrent list. In original division of powers, agriculture, fair and markets, trade and commerce within the state, all these are the subjects in the state list. It means that levy of the market fee in mandis, organization of agricultural markets is exclusive domain of the state legislature. In this context, how Parliament has made a law? That is the natural question which has to come in your mind. Center has used entry 33 in concurrent list. You know that in matters under concurrent list, both center and states can make the laws. If the center makes the law, then central law will prevail over the state laws. See carefully, on the same subject, you have to understand, on the same subject, on a matter in concurrent list, if center and states make the laws, central law will prevail over the state law. This is the point. In this case, the subject 33, how it has come into existence through a Constitutional Amendment Act, third Constitutional Amendment Act. If you carefully observe, even today, and even at the point of time when this particular subject is introduced into concurrent list, there was lot of debate. What was this controversial subject which is introduced in the concurrent list? According to it, if a parliament by law declares that it is in public interest to control production, distribution of various products, then union can make a law on that subject. See carefully. Parliament has to declare a particular control on a particular substance is necessary in public interest. Then the matter comes into the concurrent list. So, what is the constitutionality? Let us see the Supreme Court judgment in ITC Limited versus APMC Bihar. It has come up in 2002. What is being said over here? What is the issue over here is Parliament has passed Tobacco Board Act in 1975. According to that, sale, purchase or maintenance of tobacco markets is the responsibility of the center. Then APMCs in Bihar went to Supreme Court and Bihar government has levied the market fees on these tobacco mandis. When the Supreme Court, it has clearly stated that as agricultural markets are in the subject are in the state list, obviously states can impose any fee and center cannot interfere it. Center cannot override that with a separate law. It is not in the spirit of federalism. Second is, let us understand the nitty gritties over here. The center and the state on the same subject in the concurrent list, if they make the law, then the central law will prevail. Yes or no? But states are not making a law on concurrent list. Agricultural produce marketing is a subject in the state list. So when the states make a law on the subject in the state list, the center cannot override making another law in the concurrent list. That is what is the point the author wants to drive over here. See carefully. List 1, list 2, union list, state list. They have exclusive domains to respective governments to make the laws. Concurrent list is the domain of the both. In this context, states are making the laws, APMC acts, under the subject in the state list. It is not a subject in the concurrent list. So center cannot override a subject in the state list through a subject in the concurrent list. The center can only override that through amendment of the constitution under article 368, where half of the state legislatures also shall accept it and parliament has to pass the same with two-thirds of majority of members present and voting, that is special majority, and majority out of the total strength of the house. See the things carefully over there. These are the two grounds author is emphasizing here. India needs a rainbow recovery plan. This article talks about the nature of recovery plan India has to plan for. In USA, today they are talking about Green New Deal. The word New Deal has come up as part of the recovery from Great Depression in 1937. It was Roosevelt's FDR's plan. Today, Green New Deal talks about ecological considerations in recovery. Here, author is proposing for Rainbow New Deal for India, which has to be a club of both ecological regeneration and also integration of inclusivity in growth. Second point is how it has to be achieved. Author suggests decentralized production of goods and services, development of local handicrafts, cottage industries, organizing the village into clusters or villages together shall be made into clusters. Small medium enterprises shall be encouraged in these clusters. Employment generation and employment guarantee schemes both in rural and urban areas. Massive public investments in health, education, housing, transportation, etc. Decentralized infrastructure development monitored by local governments. Finally, Made in India shall become Handmade in India. The brand has to be revisited like that. Wealth redistribution has to be encouraged. Inheritance taxes shall be involved or evoked. These are the various ideas the author is proposing for. In this case, network economy is one idea which he spoke about. It is being proposed in Tamil Nadu. In this network economy, various villages will be organized as clusters for production and local production will fulfill the local needs. That is what network economy. In this case, Seva. You know that Ela Bhatt's Seva proposed that we have to create a self-reliant economy within 100-mile radius. And Kudumbashree, Jharkhand craft, which is called Jacraft, these clearly show that if the state provides necessary support, we can scale up these self-reliant rainbow revolution in India. That is the author's opinion. See, this is more about utopian Gandhian ideas. These are not market driven or whatever Atmanirbhar Bharat Prime Minister is talking about. This is an alternative plan for development. It is not a mainstream plan for development. Keep that in mind. The next article is about reimagining education in India at 100. This is a beautifully written article for you for your essay. Here, author talks about his imagination of education after 100 years of independence. In this, he talks about 5 principles. One is autonomy, autonomy to the teacher, student, everyone in the institution, so that they can think originally. Next is learning. It need to be reshaped. The learning process shall be recreated surrounding creativity, mentorship, etc. So what is important in this technology driven world? Raising awareness is important rather than delivering the content. And transdisciplinarity. Let us not learn the subjects in isolation. Let us develop common intellectual frameworks to understand multiple things which are happening around us. So seeing the subjects as 1 plus 1, 2 or in a narrow perspectives, it has to be avoided. We have to see the things holistically. Technology innovation. In future, how the education will become, now we are going and doing the field studies. Probably we don't go for field studies in the future. We will get various simulations where we can experience what is happening in the field in the simulated laboratories. That's why immersion. So cognitive learning to immersion of oneself in the learning is going to be the future. In this case, we have to ensure the meeting the expectations of the children. And finally, values, mindsets and culture. Satyam, fact finding, search for the truth. Nityam, persistence in work, sustainable work. Purnam, holistic approach in learning. These are the 3 guiding principles we shall have in mind in making the education complete for our children. Satyam, Nityam and Purnam. The next article is pandemic peak. You know, pandemic has peaked and the cases are going down. That is what is been spoken. Is it true in reality? The peaking or peak period of cases is just a statistic. If more tests are done, probably cases will increase further. It is subjected to the number of tests which are conducted. In India, there is no clarity how many tests are being conducted today. and what kind of tests are conducted. Second, in USA, UK, once they reached the peak, the cases appears to be dropping. All of a sudden, there is a second wave of the cases which started appearing. It clearly shows that the time for relaxation has not yet come for India. We need to be much cautious even though the cases have reached their peak and they are plateauing and decreasing. GST Council split on borrowing options. You know that in the last GST Council meeting, Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman stated that the states have to borrow the money and then the loss is expected due to implementation of GST around 97,000 crores and the remaining 2.3 crores, lakh crores is loss due to COVID-19 which is expected to be borrowed by the states. Now this estimate is revised. The 97,000 crores which is due to implementation of GST is increased to 1,10,000 crore rupees. Now both center and the states have agreed to extend the compensatory cess beyond 2022. There is no dispute on to that. But who has to borrow the money, center or the states? This is where the GST Council is divided on the matter. Virus researchers get Nobel Prize for medicine. You know, hepatitis C virus is being discovered because of that. Screening of blood donations became possible. Previously, as it is not screened, the blood transfusions have become the source of infection. So, hepatitis C discovery has got the Nobel Prize for medicine this year. The three people are, one is Harvey J. Alter, Michael Houghton, and Charles M. Rice. These are the three scientists from USA and UK got the Nobel for medicine. Quad will discuss vaccine and 5G. You know, foreign ministers of India, Australia, Japan, and US are meeting in Tokyo to discuss various issues. China already started calling this as mini NATO and a cold war mentality of United States of America. But see it carefully. This is going to be an effective institution if it evolves properly. It has to be a holistic, multicultural, plural institution rather than standing as a military institution to contain China. That is the opinion we saw in the previous classes. What are the matters that are expected to discuss at this Quad meeting? First is cyber security, vaccine development and distribution. Next is Malabar exercises. Shall Australia be invited or not? East-West connectivity from India to ASEAN. Supply chain resilience initiative. Remember this carefully. Supply chain resilience initiative is proposed by Japan to decrease dependence on China. Diversification of the procurement of the goods is the main idea behind that. Supply chain resilience initiative. And then China obviously started criticizing this as a grouping against Chinese, but India clearly stated that it is a pluricultural meeting of the like-minded democracies in the world. And in this case, another thing which has been spoken is Blue Dot Initiative. It is a direct attack of United States of America for Belt and Road Initiative of China. Here, America is not pumping in money. America is developing the quality standard for international infrastructure projects. It means America is going to keep a stamp. Is this project is sustainable or is exploitative? So, the Belt and Road Initiative, is it putting the countries at the risk of debt? That will be assessed in this. So, debt trap diplomacy of China is going to be countered by United States of America through Blue Dot Initiative, and Japan, Australia are also participants of this Blue Dot Initiative. So these are the articles for today. This is Dr. Rambabu signing off for Law Excellence IAS.